Alright, Dad, I've gotten, I guess, also, a lot of decks of cards, as you know, right?
Yep.
And this one's pretty cool. I mean, I'm just going to be honest, this back design is pretty cool. But what's really crazy is that this deck came with something really, really weird. And let me show you this. It came with this weird card with a back on both sides. Here, can you check that out real quick for me? Like, just look at it. Like, it's just kind of crazy with a back on both sides. And can you hold on to that for me for a second? And we'll get to it in a second. So, I'm going to shuffle this deck a little bit. Actually, can you shuffle for me? I can hold the card if you want. There we go. This weird card. And you can shuffle. You got it? Okay, we'll trade again. And you can hold on to the weird card. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to spread the cards now, and I want you to go ahead and just touch any card you want. The very top card.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll go ahead, we'll take a look at it here. It's the 8 of Hearts. Can you actually hold that up to the camera so the camera can see it? Perfect. So, 8 of Hearts. And what we'll do is we'll take the 8 of Hearts, we'll cut it somewhere into the deck so that it is lost forevermore. Shuffle it as well. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread the cards once more, and I want you to touch another card somewhere in the middle. Right there.
Mm-hmm.
This card right here?
Yep.
Alright, let's take a look at it. You can show it to the camera. Alright, so we got the 10 of Diamonds, and what I will actually do is I'll just leave that card right there. One last look at it. And we'll leave it right there to be lost forevermore into the deck of cards. And we'll give it a few more shuffles as well. Now, can you show the weird card to the camera again? And as we do that, I'm just going to stand up here. So we have the weird card, and I'm actually going to take the weird card back real quick. And we're going to do something pretty cool here with the weird card. First, so what we're actually going to do with the weird card is kind of interesting because, you know, this might just be me, but you know what I thought when I first saw this weird card? I thought it kind of looks like two cards stuck together. I mean, I'm just saying that's what I thought. So what we're gonna do something pretty cool here with the weird card. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the weird card here with the back on both sides. And what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to see if I can get my thumb in there. See if I can actually peel apart the two cards from the weird card. And those were the two cards you were thinking. I got another weird card here, Dad, with this deck of red bicycle cards. When I got this, it came with another weird card than like that deck did. But rather than having a card that has a back on both sides, I got a card that has a face on both sides. I mean, I don't know about you, but that's worse. I mean, this is just terrible. You're playing a card game and then someone sees, oh, you have the 2 of Diamonds, I have the 9 of Clubs. Anyway, can you hold on to that?
Mm-hmm.
And there's the weird face card. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this deck, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to riffle down the side. I want you to call stop whenever you feel like it.
Stop.
Right there?
Yep.
You sure?
Yep.
Alright, I'll break the cards right when you said stop. I'm going to show you and the camera that card.
Okay.
Got it in mind.
Yep.
You got it? Okay, look. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to give the cards a couple of cuts to lose your card. Now I'm going to once again riffle down the side, and you call stop whenever you feel like it.
Stop.
Right there?
Yep.
Okay, look, I'll break the cards. Already said stop. Show you another card. Here's the second card.
Okay.
Hopefully it's not the same card. Is it the same card?
No.
It's not. Okay, look. Now we'll leave those cards somewhere in the center of the pack. Now, here's the deal with this weird card. Did you notice anything when you were picking the cards about that weird card you were holding and the cards you actually had?
Oh, yeah. There is something interesting about it.
Here, can you hand that to me?
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but what were the cards you had?
The first card was the 9, and the second card was the 2 of Diamonds, I believe.
So, both of the cards that were on this.
Yes.
So that's pretty interesting. But what's interesting about this here is that if we take a look here at that weird card, we set the deck here, and we take a look at this weird card. Look.
Mm-hmm.
Just like with the other weird card. we can actually take apart the weird card. And can you examine those for me real quick? And as you're examining them, one thing you might notice is if you examine the deck as well, if you go through the deck, you might find, and if you show that to the camera as well as you're examining it,
can you show it?
That there is actually no other 2 of diamonds or 9 of clubs in the entire pack, because those are the 2 of diamonds and 9 of clubs that you selected. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Josiah, and today's video is a surprise video. Yet another one. I know I've kind of been having a surprise video thing going on lately, but I'm pretty excited for this one. I'm gonna be honest. I had the idea today, actually, to do this video, because I had a whole bunch of free time today, and so I decided, you know what, why not make this quick video, because it's a really cool idea based on a trick I already learned, and that was the first trick I performed for you earlier in this video, where you separate the double backer card. That was the first one I learned. And it's a very interesting trick where you have a double-backed playing card, and you somehow split it into the 2 cards the spectator just selected, which I think is interesting, and those cards can also be signed as well, which is interesting. But I had this idea that you could use it with a double facer gaff card, which, let me see if I can grab, I think it's still in my pocket actually, yeah, here it is. A double facer playing card, which these aren't as common, but I'll leave a link down below to where you can pick up some double facers, and double backers come with a lot of decks. I'll also be showing you how to make a double facer, and I'll leave a link down below to where you can pick up like a professionally made double backer for just a bicycle deck of cards. Another thing is that if you haven't seen yet, I posted in the discussions tab, but I don't know, for some reason this whole discussions tab thing isn't working so well. We'll see if we can figure that out eventually. But I posted, I told you guys I do a review of the Invisible deck. I told you all about it, and I'm gonna have to apologize to you because I didn't get to making that review, and to be honest, I just really didn't feel like it. I just really didn't feel like it. I felt like doing a review. I felt like doing a review of the Invisible deck. I felt like it was a good idea, and it just didn't work out. It just really honestly did not work out. And the thing about this channel is that I'll try to do reviews if I can every so often, but this channel isn't mainly about reviews. It's about teaching you guys magic, card magic specifically. Obviously, it's called the Card Magic Academy, not the Magic Tricks Academy. But, you know, that's mainly the focus of this channel, and so that's what I'm going to be doing with this channel. So, hopefully you enjoyed it. Yeah, let's just get right into it. Alright, for this tutorial, I'm going to be using 2 decks of cards, actually. The first is just some red bicycle standard playing cards, and there's another really cool deck that I'll talk about in a little bit, that I also use for this video. So to start off this tutorial, we're going to start off by just learning the basic move that I want to teach you in this trick, because overall the 2 tricks are fairly simple to do. You just need a gaff card, and you need Misdirection, which I'll talk about that when I get into the next, when I get into the double facer tutorial. But I'm going to start with teaching you the basic move that you're going to be learning, that I want to teach at least with this video, and that is a move known as the half pass. And the half pass looks something like this. And if I flashed there, sorry, but it's okay to flash with this, and I'll explain why in a second. But basically all that happened was I reversed the bottom card. So the half pass, now the half pass can be done with half a deck or whatever, because I just reversed about half the cards. But you can do it, you know, with just the bottom card, and that's what we're only going to be focusing on here. And it's basically a technique that allows you to reverse the bottom card, obviously, as I just said like several times. But and it's a really cool move because it's going to allow us to achieve this effect. Because hint, hint, when we actually show the double facer, the double backer, we're not actually showing the real, gaff, or also known as a gimmick card. We're actually just showing the two cards that are involved in the trick actually stuck together, and then we're just pretending to peel them apart. But we need to get them together like this, whether it's face to face or back to back. And the way we're going to do that is we have to reverse one of them. So how do we reverse one of them? Well, obviously you could just do this, but that requires a lot more misdirection. We're not going to cover that much misdirection in this video. This is just kind of an introduction video to misdirection. So we're going to do our half pass instead. So I'm going to go from behind to show you kind of the method for the half pass here. And I just realized our double facer's on the ground, but we'll see here. So hopefully this is a pretty okay view of the back. Kind of awkward for me right now, but we'll see. So basically all that's happening is we're going to start by getting a little bit of a pinky pull down break on that card. And obviously this is exaggerated for the camera. Most of the time a pinky break is only about that much, but I'll exaggerate it here. So all you do is with your pinky you pull down one card and you get your break like that. Or you can lift up at the back and riffle off just one card and then stick your pinky in there and you just get a break. But what you're going to do is you're then going to use your pinky to pull down on that break so you get this large separation at the back, okay? And basically all that's going to happen is we're literally just going to roll over this card at the back and set it back there. And I dropped a card trying to show you how the back view, but that's okay. So let's run over that a little bit more in depth. So you get that pinky pull down separation. And what you do is you come over with your right hand and you hold it in that biddle grip we talked about. I don't remember which video we talked about in. I'll leave a link maybe on screen in the description box, definitely, to where I talked about biddle grip. We're going to hold the deck in that biddle grip that we talked about earlier. And sorry if you can hear stuff in the background. I have my brother's watching a movie right now, so that's fun. But anyway, basically all you're going to do is you're going to hold the deck in biddle grip. So you're basically holding just this one card with your left hand and the rest of the deck is being held in middle grip. So what you're going to do from here is underneath, you're going to curl in your index finger. Now, I want you to follow along with your deck of cards. You might not get it perfectly, but it will take some practice. But trust me, it's a really useful move once you get to know it. And remember to just practice it, okay? So once you have this here, you're going to curl your index finger underneath, as I was saying. You're holding the deck in biddle grip, obviously, and what you're going to do is you're going to then use your other fingers to peel back. And basically, you're going to start what's called the Herman pass, but you're just going to do it as a half of it, I guess. Why could they call it the half pass? So you use your other fingers to pull down. Index finger is curled, and then from here, what you're going to do is you're going to basically kind of push with your index finger and pull with these fingers to kind of lever that card into a T shape against the deck like that. And then from here you just finish rolling it over and you set it back on bottom like that. And that is literally the entire half pass. There's nothing else to it. It's just that. So running over that one more time, you get that pinky pull down separation. You curl your index finger underneath. You pull back with the fingers. You roll it over. You set it back and you're done. And one note is that you want to tilt your hands downward when you do this so that your audience is seeing the back of the deck, and that will help to hide this move a little bit better. One more thing is that you want to use misdirection. We'll talk more about misdirection with the double facer trick coming next. Alright, so let's take a look at the double facer trick, which was the second trick that I performed. So, what you're going to need for this is a double facer card. Now, I'll leave a link down below where you can purchase a whole deck of these built for bicycle faces, but you'll find that a lot of decks of cards as well will have pretty much the same faces. Excuse me there. And you'll be able to use these as well. But if you don't have a bicycle deck or you don't have a deck that will match these these faces, there are a couple other places where you can find double facer cards. I recommend searching on magic shops or for your particular deck of cards that you want to use, and see if you can find double facers for that deck. And if you also search, like Google search, let's say you're using a deck of Monarch playing cards, you say Monarch's playing cards, double facers, and see if you can find some there. If you can't, that's okay. You can also make some homemade. I don't recommend doing this if you want to really perform this a lot. I recommend making the investment to purchase some double face cards, but I did this before I got double face cards as well, where you just take some double-sided tape or glue or whatever, and you just stick 2 cards back to back so you end up with a double-faced card like that. And that's, you know, kind of how you'd make a double facer. So let's take a look now at the actual handling of this particular trick. So it does require what's called misdirection. A lot more misdirection than what we've talked about here on the channel so far. Now, what is misdirection, you ask? Well, misdirection is basically when you misdirect your audience. What is misdirection? You misdirect your audience. Great job, Josiah. That's a great job. Great. Yeah, but anyway, basically the idea of misdirection is that you're going to use your body language and, you know, your eyes and your presentation, your performance to direct people's attention away from, you know, whatever is you don't want them to look at. For instance, in this case, it's the deck of cards. And you're going to make them look, you're going to get them to look away without them knowing that you're doing exactly what you want them to do so that you can achieve some secret thing with the deck. So, basically, the way we can achieve this is 2 options. First, you can wait till they look away, as I did in the performance that you guys saw, because Dad was kind of behind the camera. But I didn't, you know, he looked away eventually, and I knew he'd do that, because I knew he would do that during my trick. I kind of figured he would do that, so that's what I did. But to really use misdirection, we're going to focus on not the camera side things. Obviously, you can't misdirect a camera, but I did bring my hands out of the frame to do the secret move. But to misdirect someone, the first thing you want to do is use your eyes. The first thing to focus on is your eyes. Your eyes go first. You want, with your eyes, if you want to misdirect someone from the deck, you don't want to look at the deck with your eyes as you're saying, look over there, okay? You don't want to do that, okay? Wherever you want them to focus their attention on, that's where you want your eyes to go, okay? If you say, look a tiger, you don't want to go, look a tiger. You want to go, look a tiger, okay? Now, that's a bad way to use misdirection. No one's going to look. But, except maybe if you're in a place where there are tigers, then people might look. But, basically, when you use it, you want to use your eyes to look where you want them to look. So, for instance, if I'm handing this double facer to someone, and I say, here, can you examine that for me? I'm looking at the double facer. So they're going to take the double facer and examine it, and as they do that with this hand, I can do something like, you know, like a one-handed cut or whatever. Okay? So that's just a basic example. So we'll talk about the misdirection that we want to use with this trick when the time gets to it. But basically we start, and here's our setup. What you're going to want to do is you're going to take a double facer, in this case I have the 2 diamonds and the 9 of clubs, and I'm going to get the 2 of diamonds and the 9 of clubs out of this deck that I have. No, that's not the 2 diamonds. I need to find them first. They're probably on top. No, they're not. Okay, there we go. So we have the 2 of diamonds and the 9 of clubs here. Okay, and these 2 cards are going to go on top together, and then on top of that I'm going to put my double facer. Just like that, and that's the setup for the trick. Okay, so now I'm going to present the deck to someone. I'm going to say to someone, hey, I got this deck and I got this really weird looking card. It has a face printed on both sides. Can you take a look at that? And so you're going to hand this to them, and they're going to examine it. And then you say to hold on to it. So they're going to hold on to the double facer. So you're going to hold it there. And remember, I have my 2 of diamonds and 9 of clubs on the top of the deck here. So from here, I'm just going to force the card. I'm just going to use that good old riffle force we talked about in, I believe it was the juicier fruit video, I believe. I'll leave a link down below. I honestly don't remember what video I taught the riffle force in. I do know I've taught it though. And we're going to use that riffle force that we talked about, where basically you're just holding a break above the card at the back. You riffle down, you have something called stop, and you don't actually break the cards where they call stop, you just break the cards at your pinky break, just like that. Okay, but we're going to do it a little bit differently. Because we have 2 cards we want to force here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what's called a slip cut. And I talked about this in the 4 aces video, I believe, for tabled. But for in the hand slip cuts, all it is you're just picking up about half the cards, you're going to place your thumb on top, and you're going to slide this top card into the middle. I'm going to replace my hands, and I'm going to hold a pinky break just like that. And obviously I'm doing this while using misdirection, so as I'm handing it to them, they take it, people's attention are focused there, and now I just do this here, and I don't worry about it. I get my break, and I go into my riffle force. You could also use that underspread force in this case that we talked about earlier by just taking the top card and then spreading. and doing that. And any other force really works, but make sure that at the end you force both cards. So I do riffle force, say stop right there, okay, show them the card, in this case it's the 9 of clubs, and then what I want to do is I want to control it back to the top. And what I did in the case of the performance was that I took, after forcing my 9 of clubs by doing the slip cut, I showed it and I got a pinky break at the back. I did another slip cut to slip those top 2 cards back together, and then I did a double undercut. That was also talked about in one of my videos previously. But you could use any control. I would normally use like a classic pass, but that's a little bit too advanced. Actually, quite a bit too advanced for the channel so far. So anyway, what you want to do is, in the end, the way you want to end up is that you want to have the card you just forced second from the top, and you want to have the new card you want to force on top. So in this case, I have the 9 of clubs second from top, 2 of diamonds on top. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a regular riffle force again, but without slip cutting. I'm just going to do a regular pinky break, say stop, show them it, and then control it. You're going to control the cards back to the top. From here, I'm going to flip the deck face up, and while using misdirection, I'm going to do that half pass that we talked about earlier, where I'm reversing the bottom card, and in performance it would look like this. I'd say, hey, you know, can you actually hand me that? Can you hand me that back? And they're going to hand it back to me. And as I do that, people's attention now focus here. I take the double face card back, and now I'm going to switch the double face card for these 2 cards with the now reversed card there as well. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to get at the back. I'm going to get a break beneath 2 cards, and you can do that by simply riffling up 1, 2, getting your break, and then, you know, obviously here I set the double facer here on top. And what I do is, as I use misdirection again, I say, so look, here's what we're going to do. And what I'm doing now is I'm looking them in the eyes. I'm looking them in the eyes so that they look at me in the eyes back. This is another form of misdirection. So they're going to look at me in the eyes back. They're not going to look at my hands. I especially drop my hands down here. So now I'm going to say, here, take a look at this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the deck away, the double facer on top, and I flip this over. I set the deck here, and now I give the deck to them, and now they think I'm still holding the double facer because of my misdirection, okay? And it seems like it won't fly, but trust me, it flies if you use misdirection. So I've used misdirection. They think I'm still holding the double facer. I'm actually holding the 2 cards back to back, or yeah, back to back. And so now I come up here. I show it. I'm holding a double card, and I come up here. And I pretend to like peel a card apart by getting my thumbs in there, and I just peel it apart. It's just acting. I milk it, and I pretend like I'm pulling the 2 cards apart. I hand this to them, and then I also have a quick cleanup that I'll show you real quick, where I take the deck back as I hand it to them. I have this here, and what I do is I just Gambler's Cop it away. We talked about the Gambler's Cop in the quick tutorial. And I go to my pocket with it, and I leave the card there in my pocket, and I hand the deck to them. And that is the double face trick. Double backer trick coming up next. Alright, for the double backer tutorial, we're going to be using these bicycle crimson Metalux playing cards. I got these recently, and it's really, really cool because not only is this deck made of, it's shiny, it's actually printed with metal on the back. So if you rub your finger, you can actually feel like the texture of the card, which is really, really cool. So basically, for the double backer tutorial, it's with the double backer trick, I guess. It's very similar to the double facer trick, except for 2 things. First off, it requires a lot less misdirection. If you're just practicing misdirection, that's a good trick to do, but this requires less misdirection, so you'll be able to perform it quicker. And it also obviously involves no force. So no force, free choice this time, and less misdirection. So it's in many regards easier than the last double facer tutorial. So what you're going to need is a double backer. You can get this the same way you did the double facer. You can buy these, and like decks of these for bicycle cards. A lot of custom decks come with these. For this particular deck, I actually just taped 2 cards together. I actually just taped the 2 ad cards together for it. But it still works pretty well for this trick. So, you start off the same way. You have this on top, and then you have the rest of the deck here. So you start off the trick by handing this double backer to someone, saying, hey, I have this weird card. Can you hold on to it for me? And they hold on to it. And I'm not sure if I don't think I've mentioned it yet here in this video, but the reason I like this is because oftentimes we hide our gaff cards and our gimmick cards from our spectator, but it's interesting to every now and again do, especially I like this better, because tricks like this better, because it's interesting to me to have not, hiding this and using it for some secret sleight of hand purpose, but to hand it to them and being like, this is an acknowledge of the fact that it's actually just a weird gimmicked card, okay? So then here I hand the deck to them, obviously, and I shuffle them, which is one more thing that last trick did not. You cannot have them shuffle. You can shuffle, but they can't, so I have them shuffle. Then I take the deck back. I have them touch a card, any card they want. Let's say they touch the 5 of spades, and I'm just going to control it back to the top of the deck. Obviously, I'm going to leave it face down, but I'm just going to control it to the top of the deck like that. Then from here, I'm going to have them select another card, let's say the 7 of spades, and I'm going to control that one to the top alongside the card they've already selected. So what I want to do is I might want to do that whole slip cut thing that I talked about in the double facer tutorial. So I get both cards on top, and then I want to control them to the bottom now. Now you might be saying, why didn't I control them both to the bottom initially? You could do that, but I like to do this better because you might accidentally flash the bottom card, and for sake of being able to flash the bottom card, or, you accidentally flash the bottom card, really, I don't control it to the bottom quite yet. So now I control it to the bottom, and the way I did that in the performance is a very simple way using an overhand shuffle, which is just this shuffle here where you're just peeling off chunks of cards. And right now I'm doing a false shuffle, but it is an overhand shuffle. I just did a false shuffle to keep the 2 cards that I want on top. And so I'm just going to peel off, instead of a block of cards, I'm going to peel off single cards. So I'll peel off 1, 2 single cards, and then I just shuffle the rest regularly. So I'm literally just shuffling those 2 cards to the bottom. So once again, those are on top. I control them to the top after having them both selected. And then 1, 2, and then I just shuffle the rest in a regular overhand shuffle. And those get on bottom now. From here, as I say, I'm going to stand up, and can you hand me back that card? I do my half pass again, where I'm just turning the bottom card over, and I do that here. So I turn the bottom card over, I get my break, and as they're handing me it back, I now control these 2 cards back to the top of the deck using a double undercut, okay? So I have the bottom card reversed. And remember, one thing important to note about this time round that's different than the double facer is when you do the half pass, you want them controlled to the bottom, and you want the deck face down. With the double facer, you had it face up, but with this, you want it face down. Then I riffle up the back, 1, 2, I get my break, I control them to the top, and then and as I take this back, I get a break beneath the 2 cards, and I usually do that by using a pinky count, but that's a very advanced method, so an easy method is to just riffle up like we did before and get a break. So now from here, I hand them back, I show it here, and I set it on top. So now I have a break beneath 3 cards, my double backer, and then my 2 cards that are face to face that they selected. So from here, I do a triple lift to flip it over like this. I do another triple lift, showing it on the back, and then I do a final 3rd triple lift, keeping a break each time, and what that will do is it will put the double backer 3rd from the top and these 2 cards on top. So running over that real quickly again, I'm here, I have these cards here, I take this back, I set this on top, I have a break beneath 3 cards, I do 1 lift, get another break, another lift, 2nd lift, get my break again. In this case I lost my break, but I can just get it again. And then 1 final lift, and now I have my 2 cards on top, double backer here. So from here, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to riffle up, and I'm just going to grab these 2 cards together as one, as if they're one, so I'm just holding a double. I set the rest of the deck here, and I try to get my fingers in, I just pretend to get my fingers in there, and I act as I'm peeling it apart like this. I then hand these to be examined, and one thing I like about this versus the other trick with the double facers is that these 2 cards can be signed, they can be examined, well, the other one can be examined too, you hand these to them. And you can use that same cleanup as we did before, where you have the double backer here, you pick the deck back up face up, you do a gambler's cop, which is basically just holding the card deep into the hand like this. I go to my pocket, I leave it in my pocket as I hand this to them to have them examine the cards. And that's it for this. They just examine everything as soon as you ditch the cards. Hopefully you enjoyed the 2 tutorials. And yeah, let's just go to the outro. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed that. If you did, like the video, please subscribe to the channel. And this is just an interesting tutorial that I had an idea for, and I like it obviously because, you know, the idea of using a gaff card and presenting it to a spectator as it is rather than, you know, using it secretly for some meticulous secret magician purpose. I just like that idea. And so with that in mind, sorry I had to adjust my microphone a little bit there, but with that in mind, hopefully you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for this Saturday, because this Saturday is Camberwell. February 20th, this Saturday, Camberwell will be coming, and I'm really excited for it. So I will see you then, and see you next time.